This is about yung emergence ng marketing channels. Yan. So, yung marketing channel or distribution channel, it refers sa path or ruta ng mga produkto and services na galing sa producer papunta sa final consumer. So, kasama dito yung mga intermediaries katulad ng wholesaler, retailers, agents, and brokers. They are the key intermediaries na nagtatransport ng goods, they manage logistics, and also yung supply and accessibility ng product. Ang main goal ng marketing channels is to bridge the gap between producers and consumers para ma-ensure na yung mga produkto are available at the right time, at the right place, and at the right form papunta sa consumers. This one is about the functions of distribution channels. So, yung distribution channels, they are essential system na nagbe-bridge ng gaps between manufacturers and consumers. They also ensure na yung products are available at the right time, at the right place, and at the right quantity. So, these distribution channels, they perform a series of interrelated functions that benefit both producers and consumers. So, una dito sa kanilang functions is yung transactional functions. First, here is about buying. Yung channel members, they purchase products from the manufacturers or other intermediaries, tapos ibebenta nila ito sa end consumers. So, for example, yung wholesalers, they buy products sa Coca-Cola, tapos ibebenta nila to sa retailers. Then, another functions or another transactional functions is about selling. This is about promoting and persuading customers to purchase yung products. So, for example, is yung Lazada and Shopee, they run online campaigns to boost yung sales ng kanilang mga merchants or vendors. Then we have this risk-taking. This is about bearing risk of holding inventory. At yung mga risk to hold a large amount of inventory. So, katulad na lang if meron bang spoilage, obsolescence, or price drops. So, ito yung mga risk. Pwedeng maluma, pwedeng masira kapag masyadong malaki yung inventory na hinahawakan dito sa certain channels. Then, the next one is about logistical functions. Dito, it ensures yung efficient product movement and storage to meet consumer demand. So, una dito is about assorting. Combine different products to offer variety that suits yung customer needs. For example, may nakikita kayong mga items sa supermarket na naka-group together na siya. Halimbawa, yung mga food packages or even toiletries na nakapack all together na. Then we have this story. This is about keeping products sa warehouses until they're needed. So, yung SM, meron siyang warehouses. Tapos dito sa mga warehouses nila, naka-store yung fast-moving consumer goods para sa kanilang mga regional branches. And then we have sorting. This is about dividing yung mga large quantities into smaller portions para sa retailers or end buyers. And then lastly, dito sa logistical functions, we have transporting. So this is about moving goods safely from one place to another. So this is about the physical movement of products from one location to another, ensuring na yung mga goods are delivered efficiently and safely. Next function is about facilitating functions. So these functions support and smoothen the distribution process. providing information, funds, and services. First dito sa facilitating functions is about financing. This is about offering credit or financial assistance para sa buyers or channel members. So for example, yung mga auto dealers, 'di ba, nasa distribution channel sila. They provide installment payment options para dun sa mga consumer or buyers ng car nila. Being a provider ng market information is part ng facilitating functions. So, with this, they collect and share information about market conditions, customer preferences, and competitive activities na makakatulong sa mga producers to make informed decision. And then lastly, dito sa facilitating functions, we have the after-sale service. This is about them providing repairs, maintenance, and customer support. So for example, yung appliance stores, they offer product installation and warranty services. Halimbawa, bumili ka ng aircon. So, kasama na dun yung installation ng aircon and yung warranty nito within 1 year or 7 days replacement. The last function ng distribution channels is yung promotional functions. We have here yung advertising and sales promotion. This is about them conducting advertisement, displays, and discounts to boost yung sales. So for example, yung Unilever being the manufacturer or producer ng various items, nag-run din sila ng buy one take one promos ng mga product nila sa loob ng iba't ibang supermarkets. So that's part of the promotional functions ng kanilang distribution channels. And then lastly, we have personal selling. So this is about using trained sales personnel to persuade yung mga customers to buy the product. So for example nito is yung mga in-store beauty advisors that promotes skincare brands. Yan. So marami yan sa Watsons. So these are the different types of middlemen. So yung mga middlemen or intermediaries, they are individuals or organizations na tumutulong na i-move yung goods and services from producers to consumers. They bridge the gap between production and consumption. Right now, dito tayo mag-focus sa merchants as a type of middleman. So we have merchants and yung under niya are the wholesalers and retailers. So discuss muna natin yung merchant middleman. Yung merchant middleman, meron silang ownership dun sa goods na binibenta nila kasi they actually bought these products directly from the manufacturer or other intermediaries. Tapos, they resell them. So, kumikita sila dito kasi may difference between the purchase price and their selling price. The subcategory ng merchants are the wholesaler. So, eto mga wholesaler, katulad ng merchants, they buy products in bulk from producers tapos they resell them to retailers or other company in smaller amounts. Also, they assume ownership ng produktong binili nila. So, they frequently offer further services including yung loans, storage, and transportation. For example, merong beverage wholesaler tapos yung lagi niyang binibining produkto is yung Coca-Cola products. Bumibili siya na 10,000 cases ng Coca-Cola. Tapos, bini-break bulk niya ito. So, yung mga smaller quantities such as 500 cases, binibenta niya sa mga various convenience store. So, ito yung isang strategy ng pagiging wholesaler. They buy in bulk a lot and then break it into smaller portions and then these smaller portions binibenta nila sa various stores. So, wholesalers make distribution efficient and cost-effective by buying large quantities and breaking them down for smaller businesses. And then lastly, we have the retailer. So retailers are the final link sa distribution chain. They sell goods directly sa final consumer for personal or household use. So they operate physical storefronts, online shops, or both. And again, they are the last link sa distribution network. Ito yan, yung mga retailers. So, we can consider na yung SM department store is a retailer kasi they sells a variety of branded clothes and household products directly sa kanilang mga walk-in customer. Ngayon, nandito na tayo sa different elements of physical distribution, which is also known as logistics. This one refers sa lahat ng activities involved para sa isang efficient movement and storage ng goods from the manufacturer papunta sa final consumer. Una dito is yung transportation, which is the actual movement ng goods between points sa loob ng supply chain. So, it affects speed, cost, and reliability of delivery. Ang mga example nito is yung mga trucks, trains, air cargo, ships, barges, and included din dito yung pipelines for oil and gas which is implemented dun sa Europe. Yung transfer ng oil from Russia to Europe. Ganyan. So, ang key role nito is to ensure na yung mga produkto reach the right place safely, on time, and cost efficiently. Then, next we have warehousing. So, yung warehousing refers sa storage of goods until they are needed for sale or production. So, it helps businesses maintain yung steady supply and meet demands fluctuations. And then it prevents delays by ensuring yung products are readily available. It may also include distribution centers for faster regional delivery. So overall, warehousing provides storage flexibility and maintains continuous product availability. Next is about inventory control. So this is about managing yung stock levels to ensure na yung right products are available in the right quantities. It prevents overstocking or sobra-sobra yung stock na hinahawakan ninyo. Also, yung stock outs kung saan kulang na yung stock that you have. Tumataas na yung demand, wala namang supply. So, inventory control uses forecasting and reorder system. For example, yung Jollibee. Jollibee uses digital inventory system para ma-monitor yung daily ingredients level and to avoid shortages. So, inventory control balances cost efficiency with customer service quality. Now we have order processing. This is a system of receiving, handling, and delivering orders. When you guarantee an accurate and timely delivery, it improves customer satisfaction. So, for example, a customer orders through Shopee. So, Shopee itself verifies yung payment, tapos yung merchant prepares the item, and then, back to the system, it updates delivery tracking. So, dito sa order processing, it enhances yung accuracy, speed, and customer satisfaction. Then we have material handling. Material handling involves yung movement and storage of goods within warehouses or distribution centers. Gumagamit sila ng forklifts, pallet jacks, and conveyor belts. This reduces yung damage sa product and it improves speed sa warehouse operation. Finally, we have packaging. So, it protects goods during transit and storage. Ito yung mga boxes that protects your product na in order. So, this minimizes losses, improves handling efficiency, and it supports marketing efforts. Kasi may branding din na kasama dito sa packaging. Traditional selling targets individual or small transactions. Ito namang mega selling. It deals with enterprise level clients and often it requires long-term engagement, customized solutions, and strategic partnerships. In short, mega selling is about building big deals, not just closing quick sales. These are the characteristics ng mega selling. Una, meron itong complex na sales process. Kasi maraming stakeholders ang involved dito, maraming departments, at merong multiple layers of approval. So this requires deep understanding ng client structure and decision flow. Then, dapat meron itong customized solutions. Yung mga products or services, dapat naka-tailored ito sa client to meet yung specific organizational needs nila. Often requiring yung integration sa kanilang existing system. Then, meron itong long sales cycle. Kasi negotiations can take months or years before closing. And then, usually high value contracts talaga ito. Each deal is worth millions, significantly impacting yung company revenue. And lastly, it has relationship building because now they focus sa trust and long-term partnership, hindi lang one-time sales. These are the types of mega selling. Una dito is yung exposition. Yung exposition, these are a large-scale na business networking event open sa both public and industry professionals. Ang aim nito is to promote exports, investments, and partnerships between local and international firms. Usually supported ito ng government agency and it spans multiple industries. Ito yung example niya. So dito, Food Philippines yung kanyang expo. Tapos, iba't ibang food items from different countries. And of course, dito, mega selling siya kasi this is a contract between industry and the manufacturer. Dito sa exposition, you build visibility and secure yung cross-border or institutional contracts. Then we have exhibition. So, an exhibition is an event where various forms of art, products, or skills are showcased collectively. It is also a platform kung saan yung mga companies or individuals showcase their products, technologies, or services para ma-experience ng potential consumers. So, this focuses on brand awareness, product demonstrations, and direct engagement with potential clients. So, ito is a sample ng exhibition. These are medical supplies that they demonstrate sa kanilang potential customers. Now, this is lesson 3, which is about channel management. Yung channel management, it refers to the process of designing, implementing, and maintaining an effective distribution channels. Yung mga marketing channel managers, meron silang critical role in establishing profitable sales environment sa pamamagitan ng mga strategies, also by analyzing consumer behavior and market trends. Dito sa channel coordination, it involves yung aligning and synchronizing ng lahat na activities ng membro ng distribution channels para ma-ensure na efficient yung flow ng mga produkto and information. So, inside the channel, we need to have an organization. So, channel organization, it involves designing yung company's distribution structure para malaman paano yung flow ng produkto from producers papuntang end consumers. It ensures na yung bawat channel member ay merong defined role and responsibilities. These are the key aspects ng channel organization. So, una dito is yung channel design. Dito, the company must find a most suitable way to structure yung kanilang distribution network. So, the company must decide between the direct channels, which is about selling directly to consumers, walang intermediaries, or yung indirect channels, kung saan gagamit sila ng intermediaries such as wholesalers. Ayan, we have the direct channels or indirect channels. So for example ng direct channels, halimbawa, yung Dell. Yung Dell computers, pwede sila magbenta directly sa kanilang consumers kung meron nga silang sariling outlet, di ba? Or yung indirect channels naman kung saan yung Nestle, yung mga products nila can only be bought sa supermarkets. So, Nestle uses intermediaries such as wholesalers and retailers. Next is the channel levels. So, this one refers to the number of intermediaries sa loob ng channel. Yung zero level, it means direct yung product from producer to consumer. Pwede makabili yung consumer from the producer. Yung one level naman, yung producer, meron siyang retailer and then consumer. And two level or more, meron kang wholesaler and retailer as intermediaries. So, bawat level na to, they perform specific functions such as storage, transportation, or customer service. All of this, it adds value sa buong proseso. So, you need to determine how many levels inside your channel. Then, inside this channel, you need to know sino yung mga channel members, such as yung wholesalers, retailers, agents, and brokers. So, companies must define sino yung magpa-participate dito sa loob ng kanilang channel organization at ano ang kanilang mga responsibilities. So for example, yung Coca-Cola, marami siyang exclusive distributors who handle deliveries, promotions, and logistics dun sa kanilang assigned territory. So, ibig sabihin, Coca-Cola knows kung sino yung kanyang retailers, wholesalers, and agents or brokers within this channel, within this distribution channel. Then we have channel relationships. So, you need to build strong relationships dun sa lahat ng channel members to ensure cooperation and long-term success. Itong relationships na to, they are often formalized through contracts or partnership agreements that outline yung kanilang mga roles, responsibilities, and incentives. Then we have channel intensity. So this is about how widely your product is distributed. How many number of outlets available yung product ninyo. So there are three main types of this channel intensity. Una dito is yung intensive. Kapag intensive yung distribution, it means yung products are available in as many outlets as possible. So, for example, yung mga items sa grocery stores such as yung mga product ng Coca-Cola or yung mga toothpaste. Then, yung selective naman, ito yung mga products na sold through a few chosen retailers. So, for example, yung mga shoes such as yung Nike, Adidas, chosen retailers lang. And lastly, we have these exclusive distributions kung saan product are sold through a single or limited outlet such as yung mga luxury items katulad ng Rolex watches or luxury cars. So, you need to define kung gaano ba kalawak yung distribution ng channel ninyo by identifying if this will be an intensive, selective, or exclusive distribution. Lastly, we have channel management. So, channel management, kailangan i-ensure ninyo na lahat ng channel members perform effectively. So this includes monitoring yung kanilang performance, resolving conflicts, motivating members, and ensuring na lahat ng activities are aligned with company goals. So for example, yung Samsung, they regularly evaluates yung kanilang retail partners to ensure na they follow yung display guidelines to achieve yung kanilang sales target. Dito sa channel controlling, it refers sa process of monitoring, evaluating, and guiding yung performance ng distribution channel members to ensure that they follow yung company standards and objectives. These are the key components ng channel controlling. Una dito is yung performance monitoring. So, this involves yung regularly evaluating kung gaano ka-effective yung channel members sa pag-perform ng kanilang assigned roles. So, yung mga managers, they track yung sales, delivery performance, and customer feedback to identify yung areas for improvement. So, best example dito is yung Lazada. Lazada continuously evaluates yung mga third-party sellers nila using yung seller ratings and customer reviews to ensure yung consistent service quality. Second is about compliance and enforcement. Dito, you need to ensure na lahat ng intermediaries follow company rules and policies, including yung pricing structures, promotional activities, and customer service standards. Non-compliance can harm yung brand image or cause market confusion. So for example, yung McDonald's, 'di ba franchiser sila? So may franchisee sila. So yung franchisee mas strictly follow yung menu standards and pricing strategies ng McDonald's headquarters, ganyan. Violations can result in penalties or franchise suspension. Third is about conflict resolution. So disputes may occur between channel members. Hindi naman ito imposible. For example, issues about over territory, pricing, or customer assignments. Conflict resolution involves addressing these disagreements promptly to preserve cooperation and trust. For example, merong retailer. Tapos, complaint niya is yung mismong manufacturer start selling directly to consumers online. Kumukuha lang siya ng product dun sa manufacturer. So, this is a conflict of interest. The company must balance both interests, yung sarili niyang interest at yung interest ng kanyang intermediaries, ng kanyang channels to maintain fairness. Kasi syempre, kapag yung manufacturer starts selling directly sa consumers, they can control the price. But the retailers, the wholesalers who bought directly from them, reliant sila kung magkano yung purchase price at doon lang sila kikita above their purchase price. You need to maintain balance sa interest ng all parties involved inside your channel. Fourth is about feedback and adjustments. So managers, they must collect yung feedback from both channel members and customers para ma-identify if mayroong operational gaps or service issues. Yung feedback, it helps the company make timely adjustments sa kanilang strategies, policies, or logistics processes. For example, yung distributor, ni-report niya na merong delivery delays dahil sa route congestion. So, may congestion sa daan, sa traffic. Leading na baguhin ng company yung delivery schedules or warehouse locations. So, nakinig siya sa feedback ng kanyang distributor at nag-adjust siya accordingly. Probably, itong distributor na to is a profitable distributor nila. And lastly, we have strategic planning. So, channel control is not just about monitoring performance, it also involves long term strategic adjustments. So, yung mga managers, they use yung mga data nila sa sales performance, competitor actions, and market changes para ma-redesign yung kanilang channel strategies. For example, during pandemic, maraming companies shifted online into a retail channels after assessing yung performance data ng kanilang physical store closures. So nagkaroon sila ng long-term adjustments from having a physical store, pinili na lang nila magkaroon ng online store. So that is redesigning their channel strategies. You also need to know about your channel environment. This includes all external factors that influence how products are distributed and sold. So, we have these important channel environment elements. Una dito is yung economic factors. Dito sa economic factors, included ang inflation, interest rates, and yung consumer purchasing power na nakakaapekto sa distribution cost and pricing. For example, during inflation, nagiging expensive yung logistic cost. With that, na kakaroon ito ng influence sa retailers na i-adjust nila yung kanilang presyo. Second is the technological factors. Yung innovations, it improves logistics, inventory tracking, at yung online sales platforms. For example, yung rise ng e-commerce platforms like Shopee and Lazada, it totally transformed yung distribution systems. Third is about legal and regulatory factors. So, yung mga laws, nakakapek ito sa product labeling, taxation, also yung import and export restrictions, and consumer protection. For example, sa Pilipinas, merong FDA regulations kung saan kailangan FDA approve yung mga food and cosmetics na binebenta sa bansa. Then we have these competitive factors. Dito, yung level of competition sa market affects yung channel decision. So, yung mga companies, they need to analyze yung kanilang competitors to choose the best channel strategy. For example, in a market flooded ng similar product, yung mga firms, they might use exclusive distribution to build a premium image. So, isipin nyo na lamang yung cellphone market, mobile phone market. Yung market nito are almost similar, flooded with the same specifications, ganyan. To build a premium image, yung mga companies, they uses exclusive distributions kung saan dito lang sila makakabili ng product nila. Then, dito naman sa social and cultural factors, sinasabi na yung culture and lifestyle, it influences consumer preference and shopping habits. For example, nagkakaroon ng mataas na demand for eco-friendly packaging, and because of this, it encourages yung mga brands to adopt the green logistics. And the last external factors that you need to watch out is the political factors. So ito yung government policies, trade agreements, and taxes na nakakaapekto sa channel operations. For example, merong tariff adjustments sa imported goods. So this can change yung sourcing decision. Hindi natin maiwasan na magkaroon ng channel conflict. So this usually occurs when disagreement or clashes arise among distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, or retailers within their distribution channel. So itong mga conflicts na to, madalas nagsisimula ito sa una, conflicting goals. Ano yung goals na to? Pwedeng sa pricing or territory issues. o kaya merong miscommunication or misunderstanding ng kanilang mga roles. Or meron silang competing interests between members. Itong mga unresolved conflicts can harm cooperation, reduce efficiency, and it can damage long-term business relationships. These are the different types ng channel conflict. So una is we have horizontal conflict. This happen kapag merong conflict between channel members tapos same level sila. It can be between two retailers or two wholesalers. So, ang reason bakit nagkakaroon sila ng conflict, it can be either of these three reasons. Una is price competition between retailers. Second, pwede meron silang overlapping territories. And third, pwedeng merong unequal promotional support. The next conflict is the vertical conflict. So, dito, it occurs between different levels sa distribution channel. This can be between manufacturer and wholesaler or a retailer and a distributor. Magkaiba silang level. Mas mataas yung isa dun sa distribution channel. So, ano yung mga probable causes nito? Una, pwedeng yung producers, nababypass niya yung intermediaries niya, tapos they sell directly to consumers. So, ang tawag dito, disintermediation. Second reason, pwedeng meron silang disagreement over pricing or territory. And third reason, maaari na meron din silang lack of communication or support between levels. Dito naman sa multi-channel conflict, nangyayari ito kapag yung company uses multiple channels, like meron silang physical store, online platforms, or third-party distributors. Tapos, disputes arises between them. So, let's say for example, yung company, nagbebenta siya sa kanyang online store at meron siyang authorized retailers. If yung online store is nagbenta at lower prices, yung mga retailers niya may feel disadvantage kasi hindi sila ganun ka-flexible to adjust their price. So, with this, it leads to conflict. So, the key issue here is yung kanilang price inconsistency and lack of coordination among channels. And the last type is about the intertype channel conflict. So, this occurs between different types of intermediaries na nagbebenta ng similar products sa overlapping markets, also known as scrambled merchandising. So, for example, yung mga retailers katulad ng Walmart or SM Hypermarket, they start selling specialty electronics. They compete directly with small electronic shops. Pwede naman makinabang yung mga customers dahil nakakapag-offer sila ng lower prices. Pero yung mga small retailers within this channel, sila yung pinaka-affected kasi they often struggle to compete dun sa larger stores. Kasi etong mga larger stores na to, they have the resources and much higher buying power compared dun sa mga small retailers. Even the most well-designed distribution system can face conflict among channel members. So these are the different causes of channel conflict. This conflict often occurs kapag yung interests, roles, or goals are not properly aligned, leading sa inefficiency and strained relationship. We need to understand yung root causes nito para matulungan yung mga marketing channel managers to develop preventive strategies at maintain yung harmony across distribution network. The first conflict is about differences sa objectives kasi each channel member meron silang sariling goals such as maximizing profit margins, increasing market share, or meeting sales target. Kapag yung mga goals na to turns into conflict or fail to align with the overall channel strategy, disagreement arise. So for example, may manufacturer na gusto niya mag-expand ng market reach by offering discounts to consumer. Samantalang yung kanyang mga retailers may resist this move because it reduces their profit margins. Next reason is about pricing discrepancies, kung saan merong inconsistent prices across different channels or among members of the same channel. Kaya nagkakaroon ng conflicts. So this can lead to a loss of trust and decreased customer satisfaction, especially kapag yung consumers find different prices for the same product. So for example, yung company, binibenta niya yung kanyang produkto online at 900 pesos. Samantalang yung kanyang retail partners, binibenta ito ng 1,000. So yung mga customers, they complain dun sa retailers who then, etong mga retailers na to, they feel na na-undercut sila ng manufacturer. Another reason is about territorial disputes. So yung disputes na to occur when two or more channel members operate sa overlapping sales territory or both of them serve the same group of customers. So this competition can lead sa confusion, price wars, and loss of efficiency. For example, may dalawang authorized distributors yung isang beverage brand company. Tapos, both of these distributors compete for the same supermarkets accounts in Metro Manila. Both of them offer discounts to win clients, thus reducing overall profitability kasi puro discounts na yung in-offer nila. Then, the last cause ng channel conflict is about role ambiguity, kung saan yung conflict emerges when yung roles, duties, or responsibilities are unclear or overlapping. Without clear definitions, yung mga members may duplicate yung task or neglect key functions, leading to inefficiency and disputes. So for example, yung regional distributor and a retail branch, they both assume responsibility for product promotion sa same area. So, this causes duplication of efforts and confusion. These are some key strategies to manage conflicts. Una is you need to have a clear communication. You need to maintain transparent discussions about pricing, territories, and sales targets. Then you need to define yung roles and responsibilities. Kailangan nakaspecify yung duties of each channel member to avoid overlap. Then you need to have a conflict resolution mechanism. Ito yung magagamit ninyo for mediation, arbitration, or joint meetings to resolve yung disputes quickly. And lastly is you need to have a performance monitoring and feedback kung saan this is a regular evaluation of member performance and satisfaction within your channel.